fingers are curled, okay? And I'm gonna do it in each of you so that you can feel what it's like, okay? Unfortunately, you're perfectly even. Good. Okay, so I don't feel that one side is more distal than the other, okay? So she's fine there. Now I'm gonna check her masseter. So I'm gonna just use my gentlest, lightest touch. I'm gonna go in here at the edge of the masseter and challenge the masseter towards her ears, okay? And what I'm feeling is a little tension on the left side. I don't know if you can feel the pulsing. It's starting to pulse. And this will release any strains and any knots, that kind of thing. Just like any scar tissue. You know, we do a challenge and a tight, you can't even tell I'm twisting, can you? Mm-hmm. It's just a very light, very, very gentle. I'm keeping the rest of my hands off the face.
And this is the torque.
The torque. I'm doing a challenging to the edge of that masseter towards her ear and a slight twist to my finger.
Twist towards the outside.
For me, I'm actually doing a twist like that, if I'm exaggerating, because it's easier for my hands.
Oh, okay.
You just, so I'm going clockwise and then counterclockwise with this one, clockwise with this one, just doesn't matter. But so I'm as you do this, you will become more sensitive to the differences between one side and the other. That's what you're looking for. You want everything to be even, and you want to make sure the blood, the pulse stops. And you've got to learn the difference between the pulse of a blood vessel and the pulse of a muscle, okay? They pulse at a different rate. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now I'm going to ask you to open your mouth a little bit, and I'm going to go into that notch. Remember that notch right there between the zygomatic arch and the mandible? And I don't know if you can see, but my left finger is a little lower than my right. It's because the left is tighter. So actually now I know that there's a problem on the left. I'm taking my other finger away. I don't want to treat with the good side. So I'm feeling, keep your mouth open a little more. I got to get right in there. Okay, relax. And she strained the lateral pterygoid. It's pulsing. It takes a while. You have to wait. It's if they need an entire session just for jaw work, that's what you have to do. Just forget about the back and the BRMs and just work on the jaw. Okay, so it's slowing down now. So now I'm going to assess, because I've released a big muscle. I want to see if how she's doing. So I'm going to hold the condyles, and I'm going to ask you to very slowly open your mouth, and while I'm watching, I'm going to look to see if there's any chin wobble. And there is still, okay? So the problem is not solved. So now I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to ask her to open her mouth really wide. And I'm going to go for the medial pterygoid. And on this one, I feel on the right side, I feel it's harder, stiffer. If I go like that, do you feel the difference? Mm-hmm. So the harder, stiffer one is the one that needs to be treated. Remember what I said about the human body is trying to compensate all the time? So I don't know which one was first, whether it was her left lateral pterygoid that had the problem or if it was her right medial. But one way or the other, one has compensated for the other, okay? Because they probably didn't both get damaged at the same time. and this is stronger. A big, big pulse I'm feeling. See it slowing down? Do you feel that? That it's slowing down? Okay. So now I'm gonna check both sides. Oh, now the left is a little tight. You gotta be balanced, okay? So you gotta have both of them evenly. Just check it. Of course, you can't open one side of the mouth without opening the other, right? And now the left is letting go. Keep breathing. I know it's hard to keep your mouth open this long. Breathing is part of the release, okay? They're letting out any tension, stress. Watch their stomach rise and fall. Okay, now slow down. So now I'm going to check again. Keep checking, okay? You don't have to address the muscle if everything's even. Okay, slowly open. And slowly close. A little better. She's still a bit out, okay? She's still... So I'm going to muscle test. Which do I need to do? I'm connected to Leslie. I need to work on her left lateral pterygoid. I'm connected to Leslie. I need to work on Leslie's left medial pterygoid. I need to work on Leslie's left masseter. No, I need to work on Leslie's right medial pterygoid. I need to work on Leslie's right lateral pterygoid, and I need to write on right masseter. So it's a back and forth. So I've let it go of some, and then something else. Compensation has lifted, and the other muscle wants more attention. Okay, so open up. So did I say lateral or medial?
Lateral.
Lateral. Okay. So I'm going to go into that little notch. Okay, relax here. Okay, I'm going to go into that little notch between the. Yeah, and so now that the left side let go, the right needs more. Actually, both are releasing. So it's a back and forth. And I tried to show in the flow chart that I gave you how it's iterative. You have to go back and forth, and you have to keep checking. Is the jaw even? You don't want them to leave the office with a wobble that is worse than when they came in, right? So and I wouldn't do it on someone with braces, and I would not do it on someone with dentures either. No appliances, no, because you would be fighting against what the technology is trying to do. So don't bother.
What about post braces?
Post braces, yes, but remember that when we change the teeth, we change the bite.
Mm-hmm.
So which do you want? A bite that's off, or the jaw that's balanced? So you're okay. Slowly open. slowly close. There's still a little bit. So there I'm saying I need to work on her left pterygoid, left lateral pterygoid, left medial pterygoid, right lateral, right medial, right temporalis. So guess what other muscle goes into the jaw? The temporalis. And we can't forget that. So here I am, flats in my hands, because guess what? Those trigeminal nerves are extremely sensitive, and you don't want that client to have a headache. You're very light. Did you feel how light I am, Leslie?
Mm-hmm.
You can do this on yourself too. What I found is that there's a muscle that goes across from the ear to the eye. And when I do this, I often feel that that muscle starts to release. And so for her, right there, it can affect the eye. Okay, so remember, all muscles are connected. So even though there's an eyeball muscle that's connecting to the eye socket, a strain or a pull, a strong tension between the eye and the ear can actually affect that eye muscle that's attached to the eyeball and the eye socket. You know, the one that moves your eyes left or right, you know, that actually would be the one that moves the eye to the, so you can end up with eye strain when you have jaw issues because of your tight muscles on one side. You know, you're continually trying to focus or whatever, and you end up with eye strain.
Could you hold it?
Do you feel the pulsing, Leslie?
I think so.
Now that's where your temporalis is connecting into your jaw, and the muscles get connecting into your eye as well. So. I think this is 50 some years of tension right here. Okay, now one more time. Slowly open, slowly close, and it's even worse. So what else? What other muscles are connecting into the jaw? Underneath, we've got these muscles under the outside edge of the jaw. I'm doing a little search. I'm checking behind the jaw. And I'm not doing the move that we learn in Bowtech. I'm just doing a twist and a torque. And I find that your SCM connecting into your mastoid process is spasmed. And how is that affecting your jaw, you say? It's pulling on the occiput. And the occiput is connecting into the temporal bone and all the other stuff. So there's an indirect connection there. And what do? Flat on my fingers at the, I'm going to check this. I'm going to do that nice move here. And remember that the SCM attaches at the collarbone. You're a good example. After all, you know, even though your occiput's not out. But you will feel heat because this is starting to, you've got a very, very tight SCM. I would have found that when I did the assessment, when you walked in the door of my clinic, because I would have asked you to rotate your head left and right, and you would not have been able to rotate very far, turning your head, you know, to the left, because this is so tight. Or is it to the right? Yeah, to the right. You wouldn't have been able to turn it very far. Do you feel the heat coming on?
Yeah, I do. It's, yeah.
That's the muscle releasing. Did you notice I did not do upper respiratory? I didn't bother to do this jaw work. But now I'm realizing, oh, there's a problem with the SCM. So, because I had to look further to correct the jaw. I don't do more than I need to. I want all the body's energy to go into correcting the problem muscles, not. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So, because for the video here. So flat on my fingers. Right, there's the mastoid process. My fingers are on top of the SCM. And I'm doing that tiny twist, and it's imperceptible. And I do recommend an app, like a Visible Body, Human Anatomy or something, so that you can look at all the muscles. I look at them all the time. I go in and I say, okay, what muscle am I missing? And I look at the scalenes and the rectus capitis and all of those deeper, thin muscles. Because you can, as I said, go through layers. So this is a big muscle. The SCM is a big muscle, but there might be some other ones deeper that are also affected, going down the side and back of her neck, that are engaged, also too tight. I think she's had some sort of, I would suspect some sort of whiplash or some sort of jerking motion that put some trauma into this right SCM. Now, I'm going to wrestle to, so I'm connected to Leslie. Is this SCM trauma the origin of all of the jaw misalignment? And I got a yes. So it all started with a bit of whiplash. And all the rest was compensation and dental work, probably. Didn't help. So now I'm going a little further down that SCM. I'm just following the tension. And when I feel, when there's a lot of tension being released, first of all, the area gets very warm. I know that there's been some sort of impact force or some sort of trauma, but I get hot. It's my little recognition that something needs a lot of attention, because I'm getting hot, hot, hot right now. I probably didn't even have to say, is this the origin of the problem? There's just this heat that's being released is telling me. Now this isn't the SCM, this is a muscle underneath it. Do you feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you see these people, like newscasters on TV, and they're holding their microphone in front of their head, so that's vertical, and then you can see their heads like this.
Mm-hmm.
They probably have scalene or other tension in the side of their neck that's pulling their head to the side. I've never had a problem doing the scaling move like we're taught in Bowtech near the base. I just don't do it up near the top, okay? I'm always using the torque because of the nerves. I'm right over a carotid artery, aren't I?
Close,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, how do you feel?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Let's just see how you're doing. So open, close. There's still some. And then I would go back through the whole thing. I need to work on the left lateral I'm connected to left. I need to work the left lateral, left medial, left temporalis, left masseter, right lateral pterygoid, right medial pterygoid, right temporalis, right masseter. No. I need to work on another muscle on her right side. I need to work on another muscle on her left side. Okay, so I see what's going on. This is how I work, okay, just to show you. I need to work on the front of her throat. No, I'm connected to Leslie. I need to work on the front of her throat, side of her throat, under my hand. So tilt the head. I need to work here. It's how fast this works. And I'm torquing here. So what happens in whiplash? It's top of one side, bottom of the other. So here I was at the top of the neck. Here I'm at the bottom, near the bottom. Front, back, top, bottom. It's always the opposite. So you can see how complicated jaws are, eh? Because it's a lot of neck work as well. A lot of neck muscles involved. Here we go. Okay. I need to work more on this muscle. Nope. Okay. All right. Slowly open. Slowly close. A little off still. I think she needs more neck work. I would be working at the trapezius and then the deeper ones. There's a big strap muscle that comes from the top of your back, just above the rhomboids. And then you've got your levator scapula in there. You've got a lot of tightness, okay? So there's a big strap muscle that very, very thin, strong muscles that come from about there in your back, and they connect to the occiput. And it's like holding your head, which is heavy like a bowling ball, from falling forward. You know, they're very, very strong, those strap muscles. And on your left, it's super tight. And again, I'm sure you had whiplash. Because under your occiput, I'm right on her occiput now. I'm on the left occiput, and I'm doing that twisty thing, and I can feel it letting go. You feel that?
It's like waves.
It's like waves. It's going to affect your brain, actually. Go to bed early. You can do a Bowen move to speed things up and then come back and then do the rest. You know, like you can, like Bowen move will get rid of some of it. And on the occiput, just cross. It's always a cross fiber move. So you go across. And so now it's tightening up. Do you feel that? It's almost it's almost compressing my fingers. It's almost twisting my fingers.
I feel tension across my eyes.
So as it tightens, it's harder and harder to hold that twist. But don't let go. Whatever you do, say, resistance is futile, like the Borg on Star Trek. Do you ever know that? And I just focus as I'm doing this. I close my eyes because my intention is part of the treatment, okay? My intention is to release this muscle, and I'm focusing on my fingers and what's happening under them. And my intention is release this muscle easily, gently. At the body's own pace.
I do the access consciousness clearing statement.
Good for you, yeah. Because we're clearing trauma at the same time, trauma to the body. I just muscle tested. I better talk too while I'm doing this, but I'm saying, do I need to work at the other end of the muscle or any other part of the muscle or just the part that's attached to the occiput? And I got, no, I can just focus on the occiput end of these big vertical muscles that connect the upper back and the skull. And when the pressure, when I really feel a lot of pulsing, I release some of my, I lighten my touch, okay? I release some of my torque.
Are you moving your finger?
No, I am perfectly still.
That's all it feels like you're just going like this.
No, your whole muscle is rolling under my hands. And I release the pressure and just let it happen because it's starting a big major release.
Cool.
I'm allowing as opposed to trying to trigger.
Is this a lot of cranial work or no?
I took cranial sacral, but cranials, they don't teach this.
No.
And sometimes I find my hand's not even touching and it's still going. It's like my intention is continuing the work without me even hardly touching it.
Mm-hmm.
It's felt for some time that you've been going like
No.
no.
They're videotaping. I'm not moving my fingers at all.
No, it's been a constant roll there. It's kind of stopping now, but
That's your muscles releasing the trauma. Now it's slowing down. Okay, now keep testing, right? Okay, open slowly and close. Just a tiny wobble. Did you see that? Just a tiny bit. But for the interests of today, I think you've had enough. So this is the last and very important final step because we want to balance the sphenoid bone. They teach you in cranial sacral to do something like this. I said, you know what controls it? The occiput. Double check, is the occiput even? And it is not. We released all those muscles and now your right side is inferior. So you are not done yet. Oh my gosh. We're gonna have lots of time tomorrow morning though to practice, okay? So, another trick that I learned from Kelly Clancy is to hold two ends of a muscle. So Kelly Clancy told us, especially if you've got long hamstrings, for example, or long gracilis, to push on one side and pull on the other. And for a really long muscle, that will set up a vibration. Well, she didn't call it a vibration, but it will start, and you challenge both ends, but in the opposite directions. And if you do that on the neck muscles, you're just using one finger, and you're just holding one end, and you're pulling lateral, and then on the other end, you're pulling medial, and the muscle will let go. You don't have to manipulate anything. You don't have to do a bone move or anything, and the whole thing will start to vibrate.
It's kind of what you do with rhomboid, isn't it?
Yes, but I think they've reversed the direction because it has to be cross fiber.
Okay.
I think he got it wrong. I shouldn't say that on the tape, but I think he reversed it.
Yeah.
You know, he makes that S shape, but it's not cross fiber.
No, that's not how I learned it.
Okay, maybe it's a different
Yeah.
teacher that, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
could
anyway,
be.
it's in the book and you got to be pulling
This is
across the
definitely
fibers.
cross fiber.
Yeah, it's got to be cross fiber one way and cross fiber the opposite.
Yeah, the fingers going one way and the thumb is going the other. And you do it for 2 breaths and then...
Yeah, but is are your thumb going across the fibers? That's,
I think so.
I thought he had it, because the rhomboid is a horizontal muscle, and I think he's doing it the other way.
Like obliquely or something.
Yeah. Gee, so now we're getting to some of the deeper muscles. Okay, we got rid of the big strap muscle tension, and then the other underlying muscles, the vertical muscles and the ones up near your occiput, are saying, now we want attention. So all the compensation is lifted in the big strap muscles, and the other ones are saying, well, now we're popping up for attention. Now, do you feel that, Leslie?
I feel a lot going on, and the right side of my head seems to be a lot of tension.
But I'm working on the left.
Yeah, but it seems to be
Affecting the right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right now I'm on a little tiny muscle, one of the rectus capitis muscles, I think. I mean, I can't tell. I'm just in that general area. And it's deeper than the other neck muscles. And it fixes the C2 and C1, those rectus capitis, to the skull.
And you're not moving your finger.
No, but there's a big release happening.
Mm-hmm. It just feels like you're going.
I'm not doing anything. That's your muscle.
It's funny.
I'm just holding. I'm holding the space for your release. I set it in motion and you're doing the rest. So, can't let you go anywhere with the occiput pulled down on one side. You can go home with jaw out, but not, because if you start it off even and then you go home with your spheno going out, that's not good, okay? You're gonna feel dizzy because these muscles affect your balance. They connect in, the rectus capitis connect in with our eyes, which are part of our vestibular or system. I didn't realize you had so much going on, but I can't leave you like this. I mean, this is the one time in your life that you're gonna be treated this way. And I'm gonna do the same for any of you, either of you tomorrow too, or if you wanna stay tonight. Cause that's what I found. There's a lot of people out there, bone practitioners, who need work. And I think that's part of my mission, is to help correct.
Yep.
So you guys can continue to
Help
do your
the
good work.
helpers.
Yes.
That's my
yes,
mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also you're learning along the way. You're learning what it feels like and how long it takes to release some of these old traumas, layer by layer by layer. Oh, I think my hand is going up. Okay, let's just see if you're even. Okay, I want one of you to come and tell me. Come on, Sophie, do the test. Tell me what you feel now. Make sure her hands are in the same place mine were, okay, Leslie?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is one side of rocks a bit more inferior than the other?
I feel it equal.
Let's curl up and under.
Okay, yeah, the site might be pulling down.
Yes. And before, it was the right.
Oh.
So now I have to go back and do the left, because I want to make sure I've released so much on the right that now the left is saying, fix me. But not much. It's just tiny, eh? It's not that much.
No, it's not super obvious, but
No,
you
it's
kinda
not.
close your eyes and it's like, oh yeah.
And guess what? It's right around, in and around that SCM again that I have to go back to, that I find the tension. So this is a very excellent example of iterative treatment. And I do a lot of whiplash, concussion, that kind of stuff. And it's thanks to John Garfield, starting me off on this path of doing his upper torso, neck, and pelvis lumbar spine. He's an excellent instructor, putting that on the record there.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you're even enough for us to finish.